Hi guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Ina Solo and today we're checking out a video called American Things Europeans Can't Understand. Fun fact, I am European and I want to see if I'm gonna understand these things or not. Okay, jokes aside, the title is definitely a little provocative, but I'm actually curious to see this. I really enjoy seeing cultural differences and figuring out how people live in different places of the world. For a little bit of context, I was born in Ukraine, and when I was 7, almost 8 years old, I moved to Italy, and I have been living here ever since, so like 20 years at this point. And I am, of course, fully European. I have never been in the United States, but I do consider myself kind of like an educated person. I watch a lot of videos about a lot of documentaries. I read, and I feel like I have a decent knowledge of a lot of things of the world, but I am also just very aware of the fact that there are things that I don't know. There are things that we all don't know, and the best thing that we can do for ourselves is just keep educating our minds and reading more, exploring more, and just checking out different points of view. So yeah, that's kind of the point of this channel, I guess, this Ina Solo Extra channel. But yeah, I'm speaking and talking way too much with no sense. So let's get into this one. Consider liking and subscribing if you want to support the channel, helps out a lot. And linked down below there are all my other links, my other YouTube channels, my social media like Twitch, Instagram, and all of that. Let's go.
While the culture of the United States is exported all over the world in films and on TV, it also abides by some laws and practices that many consider unusual. Europeans in particular seem to have a hard time wrapping their heads around some of them. From child beauty pageants to gun laws, let's take a look at some American things that Europeans can't understand.
It's very provocative.
Sick of commercials. If you're a European enjoying a cozy night in on the couch in America, some of the stuff on TV may shock and surprise you. And no, I'm not talking about Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I'm talking about commercials, which arrive so frequently it makes watching TV feel almost unbearable to anyone unaccustomed to it.
Oh, okay.
Seals leaks instantly. Use it on
Especially pharmaceutical commercials, which usually show grumpy men and women turned into smiling, happy people by the product being sold. These are usually followed by an almost comically long list of potential side effects spoken at double speed, like Ambien ad.
As well as abnormal behaviors such as being more outgoing or aggressive than normal, confusion, agitation, and hallucinations may occur. Don't take it with alcohol as it may increase these behaviors. Allergic reactions such as shortness of breath, swelling of your tongue or throat may occur,
Oh,
and
it's
in rare
that
cases may
long.
be fatal. Side effects may include next-day drowsiness, dizziness, and headache. In patients with depression, worsening of depression, including risk of suicide, may occur.
These types of
Nice.
direct-to-consumer commercials peddle prescription drugs, which is an advertising standard that was rejected by the European Commission back in 2002. The Commission stated that pharmaceutical companies were unable to provide impartial information on their medicines. If that's the case, why is it practiced in America? To put it simply, there's simply never been a federal law passed to outlaw the practice. This is in no small part thanks to the fact that direct-to-consumer drugs and their accompanying ads are a huge business. And in America, whether it's right or wrong, the rules tend to follow the money. Europeans might actually need a pill for the headache all those ads give them. May cause drowsiness, loss of limbs, telepathic powers, and a violent hatred of cheese.
Okay, let me tell you, I already knew that in the US these type of ads are allowed, which as the guy said here very correctly, these type of ads are not allowed in the European Union. However, we do get ads for like pills that are over the counter, like not the prescription stuff. For that you just go to your doctor and you speak directly to them. But for like, you know, if you have a headache or like you're coughing or all of that, there are plenty of ads. Now the other point that he mentioned, like the amount of ads on TV, you know, actually, I don't know. Would that be more than in Europe? Probably yes. Like, I'm trusting his words. However, I will confess, guys, that I don't really watch regular TV anymore. So, like, I don't even know what's normal at this point. Like, honestly, I just stick to the internet, the good old internet. Like, YouTube is my TV now. And yes, of course, like all the streaming services, Netflix and all of that. But I don't even know anymore what would be considered a normal amount of ads per hour. Let me know.
No place like home. Let's say you're a European who's just moved over to America. You found a house in a nice residential neighborhood and you're going through your bills. Rent, water, gas, electric, all seems in order. But wait a second. What's a homeowners association fee? To a native, that's a pretty obvious question. But for Europeans, it's an unwelcome surprise. These fees contributes to the local homeowners association, which is somewhat like a neighborhood watch, but managing funds to be reinvested into the community. It goes towards things like residential maintenance and common spaces, which keeps residents happy and property values up. With around 24% of all Americans living under a homeowners association, they pay $200 to $300 on average per month in fees
Per
to
month?
these entities. Now, while some Europeans
Whoa.
might struggle with this concept, it was a form of governance that was actually invented by France back in 1804. The condominium law was exported to the US, where it became incredibly popular. So, for any European that wants to complain about homeowner regulations and fees, feel free to blame the French.
Okay, wait, this is actually an interesting point. First of all, I want to begin with saying that he mentioned that French law was called the condominium law. In Italy, a building full of apartments, it's called the condominio. And you kind of have something similar, but like in a building full of apartments where you pay like the building fees that just like cover the general maintenance and all of that. Depends on where you are. It can be like anywhere from 100 to like 200 euros for like something average. Then like if a place makes you pay like 300 or more run. However, keep in mind that like salaries and stuff are also different. So like 300 euros and $300 are very, very different in this context. Context. And so that is very common. Like I actually pay these fees in the place where I'm renting. Like in my contract, there's a certain amount that is just the rent, and then there's like these spese condominiali, we call them, like the condominium expenses, and yeah, like there's like a set amount that you pay every single month, and then at the end of the year, of a like tax year, which happens to be in June, they kind of calculate how much was spent, and if you overpaid or like if you owe a little bit of something, like that's normal in buildings here. In houses, I don't think so. Like if you own an actual home, I never heard of that unless it's a gated community. But can I just say that I don't think that it's entirely wrong? Because like, for example, where I live, this fee just like covers the expenses of, I don't know, like the people that clean the building. So it's nice and clean. Or like if the elevator breaks down, it covers that cost. So like people of maintenance can come and fix it, which has been happening a lot, by the way. So like the same concept in like a little district with just homes, like the roads are clean and all of that, it doesn't seem wrong to me. However, I will confess that on TikTok, I hear a lot about like Karen stories about the HOAs, which I'm assuming is the same thing here. But like they're kind of stupid sometimes, because there are rules like, oh, you can't do this in your own home or like in your own backyard, and it's like nothing that would offend anyone, but I don't know, they have these rules and you have to follow them even for like you own the house. That I don't quite understand, but the general concept, it doesn't feel wrong. Let me know, guys, what you think about it and if you have something similar.
Vacant vacation days. The USA has one of the largest economies in the world. A tremendous economy, in the president's words. But Europeans looking to get into the American world of work are often shocked when it comes to vacation time. US workers are not entitled to mandatory paid vacation at all. Usually, the issue of paid leave is left at the discretion of employers. And yes, that does include national holidays.
National holidays too?
According to research from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, in 2017, only 77% of American workers had access to paid vacation. Now, the reason that might leave Europeans slack-jawed is because mandatory paid vacation time in Europe starts at 4 weeks. In fact, America is one of the only Western countries where law doesn't enforce companies to give its employees mandatory paid vacation time. Don't believe me? Take a look at this map breaking down mandatory paid vacation time by country. Only the great countries are known not to give paid time off.
Okay.
It's a working culture that undoubtedly favors employers over employees. Americans might want to think about learning Chinese instead, as employers in China must legally offer 5 days of holiday. Although that
5 days.
is after one continuous year of work.
Oh.
Win some, lose some, I guess.
Yeah.
Florida man. If the American states could be looked at as a dysfunctional family, then Florida would be the weird uncle who once ran away with the circus and wrestled a tiger. The Sunshine State is the third most populous state in the USA and receives over 100 million visitors year on year. With so many people living between Miami Beach, Disneyland, and Pensacola, a little crazy is bound to be found on the fringes of society. But what Europeans aren't prepared for are the crazy antics of Floridians that make daily headlines. From Florida man believed that he was half man, half dog in March 2019 to Florida man robs bank, strips naked, then runs down the street throwing stolen money everywhere in July 2017. You can search the internet for almost any day of the year and find a headline announcing Florida man
Wait,
has
like, for
committed an
real?
utterly baffling crime.
Why
There
specific
doesn't seem to be
Florida?
an equivalent for any European countries, although the UK comes close with some of its questionable journalism topics like
Britain's fattest woman ate fridge and died.
Let me know the funniest
What
local
do you mean,
headlines
ate
you've ever
fridge?
seen at stories@bmas.com.
Okay.
VAT trouble. In Europe, like most of the world, tax is built into the price of
Oh,
items
yeah. Yeah, yeah,
in-store
yeah.
and online. So what you see on the
News.
tag is what you pay. But Europeans visiting an American store might be left doing a double take at their bill when they reach the register. There's no national sales tax or value-added tax in America. Instead, American taxes differ by jurisdiction, of which there are around 7,000. Differences in these local rates, state taxes, or combined state and local taxes means that final prices for the same item can differ from one street to the next.
To
For
the
first-time
next,
shoppers in
wow.
the U.S., this unpleasant surprise is a rite of passage that no one asked for.
Okay,
Tipping.
I actually recently reacted to one video that pointed out this specific topic, and I was initially very confused by it, and I read in the comments that like all the reasoning behind it, all the jurisdictions and all of that, and I guess that it makes sense because it is a federal country. However, wouldn't it be just like so much easier to have the same thing everywhere? I know that it's not doable, okay? Like I'm not trying to make a new law or get into politics here. I'm just like saying that it makes your life so much easier when you just know the final price and you don't have to think about it. I mean, that's at least how I am used to it. So like just imagining going to a country where I actually have to calculate extra taxes on it. Oh boy. And it's not just because I'm bad with math. It's also true that like I'm assuming that the tax, like here we saw examples where it was like 7%, 8%. So like if you're getting like a meal or something like that, it's not like it's gonna break the bank. Like you're not gonna go broke because of it. So it 5-10 cents of difference is not gonna make a big difference. But like, you know, it's just like I would be like, what is happening? It would definitely be confusing.
Point. A
Tipping.
meal at a restaurant can be a real
Yeah.
treat, but Europeans visiting America sometimes stress about the tip. Although tipping anywhere up to 20% seems normal to most Americans, there's no such obligation in Europe. Indeed, it's mostly seen as a bonus reward for good service. And in some
that's
European
true.
countries, it's even considered rude and excessive to leave a tip. The American federal government, however, states that tips can be used to satisfy the difference between the employee's hourly wage and the standard minimum wage. This means food servers, valets, and in-house staff in certain states can be working for a federal wage of just $2.13 per hour,
What?
which is about €1.96.
That's
So
nothing.
if you're a European visitor to the States, get ready to factor
That's
in your tip to the
nothing.
overall price of your meal. You might
That's
well be
nothing.
contributing to a struggling waiter's rent.
Yeah, but like that is honestly something that I do struggle to understand. Like if there are laws about minimum wage, why are certain categories excluded? Like it's only fair like everyone can get the minimum wage, right? At least like that's how it is here. And it just makes sense. It's not like there's a work of category A and work of category B. Like it's all people doing their job, so at least give a minimal wage. That's how I see it. Again, I'm not a politician, I'm not a lawmaker, but that just makes sense for me. For like if you know, just saying, don't get mad at me in the comments. I just think that it would be fair. Child beauty pageants. Oh yeah, I don't know much about those.
Beauty pageants. If you've ever been unfortunate enough to have watched an episode of Toddlers and Tiaras on TLC, I think you might side with the Europeans on the next matter. Child beauty pageants are common across America and usually consist of dolled-up little girls being thrust onto a stage to entertain a crowd of screaming moms. It's truly bizarre. But what's equally strange is how the craze got started. Child pageants originated from American Better Baby contests in the early 20th century. Babies would be scored on characteristics like weight, quality of skin, and face shape, supposedly in the name of helping to educate mothers on best practices for healthy babies. But of course, it wasn't just for education purposes. There were also cash rewards and trophies for top-ranking toddlers. This has slowly devolved into the bedazzled tradition of pushing a child on stage in full makeup and styled hair to do a dance routine for prize money. Although some European countries host similar but smaller events, others like France have gone as far as to ban all such pageants, claiming they're an unhealthy way to treat young girls.
I kind of
agree
here.
If you ask me, their general creepiness alone should be enough to slam the brakes on child beauty pageants. Honey boo boo, no thanks.
Yeah, honestly, I just think that kids should be kids. If they want to become beauty pageants, they have all the time of their life, like in their adulthood, to do that. When they're kids, I don't know, it just feels a little messed up in my mind, if you ask me. I don't understand it. Size is everything.
Size is everything. According to an old saying,
everything's bigger in Texas.
But if you're a European, you'll probably think that about all of America, right down to its people. It's no secret that America has a little bit of a weight problem. 2/3 of American adults classify as overweight, and it's estimated that almost 40% of adults in the U.S. aged 20 and over are obese. Contrasted to Europe, where a survey carried out in 2014 labeled just 15% of adults obese. That's a king-size difference, with a side of fries. The American tendency to overeat might have something to do with portion sizes in the States. A study comparing portions in Paris and Philadelphia revealed food outlet portions were 25% larger in Philly. And a review of 17 different single-serve foods like yogurt and candy bars found that 14 of them were bigger in Philadelphia. While a one-state to one-country comparison doesn't necessarily represent the whole, Europeans on social media often comment on how much bigger everything seems stateside. Have you noticed this difference in portion sizes? Let me know in the comments below.
I'll let you know when I visit the US.
For food puns. Oh, sugar. Living in America can really give you a taste for the sweet life, but your teeth won't thank you for it. Why? Well, some American foods and drinks have been found to contain huge amounts of sugar compared to their European equivalents. Some common bread brands contain up to 6 grams of sugar per serving. 6 times the amount found in European counterparts. But it doesn't end there. Taking a look at Pizza Hut's sugar content reveals most of their stateside pizzas have close to double the amount of sugar per slice as European versions. And in Starbucks, a UK venti white chocolate mocha will contain 62.4 grams of sugar.
Which is
but in
already
America,
a lot.
That shoots up to 72 grams. I've heard of sweetening the deal, but any Europeans making the trip across the Atlantic might leave suffering from the toothache. Gaps in the market. European standards of building a public restroom involve plenty of privacy, mainly in the form of cubicles with doors that are more door than gap. Seems obvious, but it's a standard that Americans just can't seem to adopt. With ridiculously large gaps at the top, bottom, and sides, it makes for a truly uncomfortable first visit to an American toilet for unwitting visitors. On their first time, Europeans are left feeling especially susceptible to unwelcome visitors and peeping Toms. Some people even resort to taping up the gap to prevent prying eyes looking in. But as strange as the design seems, there are some theories as to why Americans build their stalls this way. For a start, high floor gaps allow for easier cleaning, and they do make it simpler to pass toilet paper from one cubicle to another. On top of that, the vertical gaps act as a deterrent for anyone thinking of doing anything naughty behind closed doors. But there's always the chance you might accidentally get a real eyeful. Maybe just close your eyes before entering any American restrooms.
I want my privacy when I'm in the toilet.
It strikes many Europeans as a bit odd that in America you can pick up your groceries from one aisle of a store and a gun from another. Indeed, you can buy guns over the counter in places like Walmart, and ammo can be found in pharmacies. But seeing as guns are still legal in many parts of Europe, what is it that Europeans find weird about the...
Wait, I thought that like there were dedicated stores for that. Like Walmart is a supermarket, isn't it? Like a massive grocery store. And ammo in pharmacies? Ooh.
Gun-loving, rifle-wielding, Second
Okay.
Amendment touting American citizen, it might have something to do with America's gun-related death rate, seeing as per capita, there were 12 gun-related deaths for every 100,000 people in America in 2017. Very few European countries exceed 3 gun-related deaths per 100,000 people, and none
Quite a
even come
difference.
close to America's 12 per 100,000. The causes of the problem are fiercely debated, but it might have something to do with how easy it is to buy a gun. Background checks are usually carried out, but a research survey from Harvard in 2015 estimated that a third of American gun owners have purchased a firearm without a background check.
Oh,
in
that's
Europe, many
bad.
countries like Austria and Germany require would-be gun owners to go through a rigorous 7-step procedure before owning a gun. High-caliber handguns are outright banned in the UK, and many categories of semi-automatic weapons are illegal to own across Europe. It's simply much harder to legally purchase a gun in Europe than it is in the US, which I'm sure is a trigger point for some.
No
Have
pun
you noticed any
intended.
all-American
This thing about the guns, actually, like I know, honestly, I'm not super documented on the topic because I never really, I don't know, never had the chance to. But in Italy, you can, like, some people can own weapons, but in order to do so, you have to get what is called the Porto d'Armi, which is this document that allows you to own a gun and just like have it around. I don't know, like, if I don't think that you're allowed to carry it like on the street randomly. Honestly, if I see like a neighbor or someone just like with a gun in their pocket, I would close the door and call the police, because that wouldn't be normal. That's just like not the case here. But there are some people that are allowed to own guns, but again, you have to go through this procedure of getting this document called Porto d'Armi. If I'm not wrong, it's a pretty detailed one. I don't know the specifics, but it's not easy to get it. I never informed myself on the topic, and honestly, yeah, this is something that I absolutely don't get because like on one side I do understand the wanting to protect yourself. I'm assuming that like this is the reason why majority of people own a weapon, is like to want to protect yourself. I totally get it. However, if like everyone has access to the weapons, it can be tricky, especially if there aren't background checks, as the numbers demonstrate here. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too political about it, but my opinion is that if we can avoid deaths, it's better. But it's tricky. Again, I get it that people want to defend themselves, like, yeah, that's it. But I don't live in a country where this is even a topic of discussion, because here it's like you're not supposed to have it, and that's it. Now, I knew some of the facts of this video, which I'm very proud of myself, because it means that I have been doing a decent job at educating myself. However, some other things were kind of new information for me, and I'm really glad that I got to check out this one. Now, guys, let me know if you knew all of these facts, if you agree with them, if you don't. I know that this video, like some parts of this video, can be a little tricky, a little delicate, but because there are some politics involved, so please be kind in the comments, so we can have nice conversations as adults that we are. We can have constructive criticism, but if I see hate comments, I'm just gonna delete them. Hope you know, like, respect and politeness are the two big things that I want in the channel and in the comments. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this one with me, and I'm gonna see you guys real soon. Bye.